back. This is part 2 of our Zentangles lessons. Hope you enjoyed part 1. I showed you how to take a rectangular piece of paper, fold it into halves to make squares. So we're going to jump right into our Zentangles. We'll be able to do more cool patterns this week. The first one is called Flukes. This week. The first one is called Flukes, and it reminds me of mountains, which is perfect because we live near the mountains. Here's my square piece of paper, and the first step for Flukes is to draw 2 diagonal lines. They're going to cross over the middle, and they're going to start at the corners. Remember, these do not need to be perfect. Try your best and have fun with it. Okay, I'm going to start here with the corner and go all the way to the corner. If you'd like to use a straight edge or a ruler, that could definitely help. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. If you don't have a ruler, you could use another piece of paper, the edge of a book, a folder, anything like that. So you can see that I put my 2 edges of the ruler onto the corners, and then I hold it still. I'm pulling my line right down the edge, just like that. There's 1 diagonal, and I'm going to make 2 diagonals that make an X right in the middle. Okay. After I do that, I'm going to draw kind of like a sideways square that's going to connect the 4 sides together. So I think the easiest way to do that is to find the middle of each side. So I'm going to put a dot here in the middle, turn it, dot the middle here, turn it, dot it, and turn it. Okay. And again, you can use your straight edge if you'd like to. For me, that's a little easier because sometimes my hand shakes. Connecting both of the dots and then pulling it along my straight edge. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I love the repetitive nature of Zentangles. It's one of the reasons they're so relaxing. Doesn't that look cool already? All right. The next step is to draw sort of peaks or upside down triangle points inside of each of these 4 squares. I'm going to start here at the top, and my goal is to go, let's see, can you see okay? I'm going to go up and down, mirroring the top edge of the square. So I'm going to go slowly up and then slowly down. Okay, I'm going to do that 3 more times. Great job. Next step is to do that 2 more times on each square. Up and down, up, down, up, down, up, and down. Okay, 1 more time on each square. Up and down. And then you're going to fill in the bottom square for each section in black with your permanent marker, black marker, Sharpie, whatever. The next part gets a little bit trickier. So don't get frustrated if it's hard, because it's challenging for me too. What you need to do is to figure out how the pattern would look when it's going off the page. For instance, what would these bottom two triangles look like? Would you see the whole pattern? No, you would only see the top half. So you would have a couple stripes here, maybe just the tip of that shape. And then the ones on the side, you're really only going to see half of each side of the pattern. And then of course at the top, you're going to see basically the bottom part of this. So one way you could do this is to use one of your squares that you already have and actually cover up that portion. So now I know what the top part of that pattern would look like. Or I could see what the side would look like. I'm gonna do this part in time lapse, but remember, sometimes these take practice. Don't get down on yourself if it's hard. I'm proud of you and have fun doing it. Voila! Here you have Zentangle number 5, Flukes. What do you think? Was it hard, easy, maybe medium? Maybe these are different for different people. Like this one was kind of medium for me. I hope you enjoyed Flukes. One thing I love about it is it looks like it could keep going and going to infinity and beyond. I like when patterns go off the page. It makes you feel like there's a whole world beyond what we just drew. Next is Zentangle number 6. Dun, 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 dun. It's called Footprints. Doesn't it look like maybe deer tracks or little paw prints walking in different directions? And you can see the steps here. And this is a little sneak peek as to one way that we could apply our Zentangles later for a larger piece of artwork. We'll start first with a grid that's kind of lopsided. All right, gotta get my Sharpie out, ready to go. I don't think it necessarily matters how many lines you do. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start from the corner and make another diagonal line. And this time it's gonna be sort of curved. And you can see I did not go all the way to the point. This one, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm gonna do some parallel, slightly curved lines. Great. This kind of reminds me of the stripes of a rainbow. So in order to make my grid, I need to make lines that are crisscrossing or going in the opposite direction. So to me, the easiest way to start again would be to go corner to corner. And these are going to have also a slight curve to them. Just like that. Great job on your curved or diagonal grid. What does this remind you of? Kind of reminds me of a fence. The next part is going to be to draw 2 ovals inside of each square. But the trick is to turn them, so there's going to be a 1-2 pattern. So to start with, I'm just going to fill in every other square with my ovals. So I think I'll start here. It doesn't really matter where you start. And you're going to do 2 skinny ovals going the same direction. So here I'm going to go 1, 2, like 2 little eyes. And then skip 1. 1, 2, skip a square. 1, 2, skip a square. Oop. Now I'm going off the edge. So I've got to figure out what just the top or the side portion would look like here. So this one would only have just the tip of that oval. This one you'd see pretty much the whole thing. Oop. I've got one little bit here, maybe just the tiniest little bit of one. So in order to make our alternating pattern, instead of making this one the same as that one, I'm going to go at a diagonal. So this one will also have 2 ovals going this direction. And then I'll skip 1 here. The next step for your footprints Zentangle is to fill in each oval in black. This part's pretty easy. I think you'll do well with it, but it will help you practice your control, because with the Zentangles, you want them to be fairly neat. If you go too messy, you might lose the pattern. Next step to your footprints Zentangle, get it? Step, footprints. Anyway, is to do the opposite, the other squares. So instead of doing ovals that are going this way, they're going to be going this way. One easy way to do this is to turn your paper. That way you're kind of used to already going in that direction. So I'm going to turn my paper this way and make ovals that are going the opposite direction. Just like that. Like the way the footprints are looking. So to finish this off, you need to do the opposite coloring technique for these squares. So what would be the opposite of coloring the inside of the ovals? Yep, you will be coloring the outside of the ovals this time. Just like this. So color around them, and then the ovals will remain white. Just like that. my completed Zentangle number 6, the footprints. What do you think? This was one of my favorite ones so far. I just really love the way it looks, and it was kind of easy for me, so I enjoyed that a lot, and I hope you did too. Zentangle number 7 is definitely inspired by nature. It's the almond. Have the shell as inspiration here, and it looks like we'll be starting in the middle with a spiral. Now we could stop there, or part of me thinks that maybe we can keep going off the edge. Artist's choice. Let's get started. Here is my new square piece of paper. Oh, dropping Sharpies and ready to go. So let's start in the very middle. Find the middle with a dot, and then you're going to swirl around and around. And you want your spiral to get a little bit bigger each time you swirl. Remember, this is not looking for perfection. We are looking for relaxation and having fun. So I'm going to start swirling up and over. And as with the other, same as the other Zentangles, you can turn the paper as you go. That might help. Pretty excited about this Zentangle because spirals are my favorite shape. They look like they could just keep going and going and going. And I find them very hypnotizing. It's nice to be able to turn the paper, isn't it? Especially for this one. I'm noticing mine's getting a little too thin, so I'm going to try to pull that even a little wider now. And you can stop at any time. But I like to challenge myself to see how it looks to keep going off the page. So here it stops. I would imagine it would kind of start again maybe about there. Imagining here and maybe joining back there. And maybe I might see a little bit here. And I think that's about it for my spiral. Now I'd like for you to thicken the line so that it really stands out. Cool. So this is a great shape just by itself, but we're going to take it to the next level. So we're going to create these sort of sections inside of the spiral that go out. And as you go, you may want to turn the paper, especially since this is a round spiral. It doesn't matter where you start, but I was thinking about starting around the middle because I'm guessing that as you go further in and make it a little trickier, and then same as going further out or off the page. So the directionality of these lines will matter. I'm gonna curve down and up, sort of almost like an S shape each time, and I want to keep that consistent. So just start at one edge, and then go down and up, and then turn, down and up. Keep that consistent all the way. Really helps to turn. Sound effects help too. Zoop, zoop. One little guy there. Okay, then I can start back around on this side. your Zentangle is to fill in the shapes in between, but don't touch the line. So you have to really try to control your marker. Basically, it's going to be a smaller shape inside of these larger shapes that mirrors the edges, but doesn't touch. Just like that. And you want to do that all the way around. Was Zentangle number 7. This one makes me want to go to the beach and look for seashells. All right, who's ready for Zentangle number 8? Yay, me too. All right, this one is called Yin Cut. Very 3D. Remember how we started with our sort of curved diagonals in Zentangle number 6, I think it was? So it's very similar. We'll do this sort of grid of crisscrossing lines that are slightly curved. I think it's easier to start at your corners and then go from there. So I'm going to start here and just slightly curve these down. The next step for a Yin Cut Zentangle is to accentuate the corners or the points where each line meets. So you're going to go here and make these larger dots at the corners. After you accentuate each corner, you're going to make curved lines going in different directions. So let's go up and down first. These lines kind of remind me of a pumpkin or a globe. So you can start going from point to point and you want to curve out on each side. So I'm going to curve a little bit to the left and a little bit to the right. And then on the two sides you're going to continue the direction of those curves. So you're going to go curve out and curve out. Actually, now I look at it, I'm going to do an extra one in between. Ooh, yeah, maybe even a kind of straight one there. And then curve out, out, out. No magic number for the amount of curves that you do. Then, I think it's easiest to just go down and continue this pattern. So this time I'm going to start with the straight one in the middle, curve out to the left, 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 right, right, right. And continue this pattern in every other square. So I won't do the same thing there, but I will do it here. So I'll probably keep going in these diamond patterns. Great job on your curved lines. So the last lines we're going up and down or vertical. So what's the opposite of vertical? Yes, horizontal. So instead of going up and down, we're going to go left and right or across. And you guessed it, these lines are going to match the others by having that sort of curved look to make it look three-dimensional. I learned on the last one that for me it was easiest to start in the middle with the straight line, and then I'll curve up, 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 however many you have room for, and then down, down, down. Cool. Looks like an optical illusion. Kind of reminds me of like a chain of paper lanterns or something. What does it remind you of? Was Yin Cut, our 8th Zentangle. I think we're going to be able to do 2 more, creating 10 total for these 2 videos. I really like that one. It looks so cool. And I don't know about you, but they're getting a little easier the more I keep making them. So I hope that's the case for you as well. Well, the next one looks a little challenging. It's called Weave. Reminds me of Paradox, which was to me the hardest one so far, but I think we're up for the challenge. You can do it. All right, let's get started with our square piece of paper. Remember, it can be any size square, and I love using these Sharpies. All right, the weave starts, like many others, with a diagonal line going corner to corner. For this one, I am going to use my straight edge ruler. All right, so I need to line up my 2 corners here, corner next to the edge of the ruler, and then pull it down, corner here. And then always check both points. All right, there's one diagonal, and you guessed it, here is our second diagonal. That's gonna make an X right in the middle. So that first step isn't too hard. Whew, okay, next we're gonna create a pattern of lines, and we're gonna make this hopefully easier by turning our paper each time. So I'm gonna go above each diagonal line and make a parallel line or a mirroring line right above that. So this one I want to go right above, and I'm going to start about here, and then I'm going to end here. If you want to, you could use your ruler for this as well. I'm going to try to freehand this. All right, so that was a straight line going directly above that diagonal. So turn it, straight line going above this one, make my 2 dots there, and pull it down. Okay, turn it, dot it, boop, dot it, boop, and connect the dots. La la la. Turn it one more time here. Dot it, connect the dots. All right, great job. So the next series of lines are going to go in. So it almost looks as if this line stops and then starts again. So instead of mirroring this bottom line like we just did, we're going to mirror the top line. So I'm going to put a dot here, kind of visually connecting that one, and then put a dot here and connect it. 1, 2, 3, and sometimes I get a little confused and lost. So if that's happening to you, you are not alone. I'm right there with you. I'm gonna put this on time lapse and complete the rest of these, but it's just the same pattern where you go alternating. So if I just made a line going this way, then I know the next one is going to be going this way. So I'll put the dot here and here, connect those down. Good luck, everyone. This is the weave. I got confused in there. I really did get turned around, but it looks good. I can tell that maybe I might have made a mistake there, but honestly, I don't think it really matters. So if you're like me and you got confused, it's totally okay. I think it's gonna look cool no matter what. So good job on the weave. Now is Zentangle number 10. It's our last one for today, and it's called Mumzy. That's a really cute name, Mumzy. I wonder if it's inspired by the flowers that are called mums. Maybe your mummy would like it. Oh, that was a bad joke, sorry. Mumzy starts in the middle with this organic star shape. Let's count how many points or curves does it have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's count in Spanish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 curves right in the middle. All right, let's try to find our middle. Is this the middle? No. All right, pretend like you're a helicopter and you're landing right in the middle. So this 5-pointed shape is probably gonna be a little tricky. Let's see, why don't we start with a curve on the top like that? Like that could be the little head of the shape. So just a little curve like that in the middle. And then you want to go out, curve, and out, curve. Kind of looks like arms, like Patrick the starfish from SpongeBob. Kind of reminds me of that. So then you need 2 legs that are also curves. You're going to curve down and out and down and out. There is your 5 curves, just like that. Okay, let me consult the book. Shout out to Joy of Zentangles. All right, it looks like the next step then would be to create another teeny tiny one in the middle. So let's go ahead and do that. Good thing I'm using my smaller Sharpie here. I have several sizes I kind of switch in between. This one's not as hard. It's just kind of small. But since I got that first one done, it's not so bad just to go in the middle like that. Okay, then it looks like we get to connect each curve with a round shape. Kind of like an ear or a petal of a flower. So I'm going to turn my paper slightly, and then I want to do a nice large curve in between each of these. Then you just keep going and going and going until you're gone, until you're off the side of the page. So I recommend turning the paper as you go. Oh, and have fun with this. So basically these curves are going to go in between the last curves there. All right, so I'm just going to hop from one to the other. Boingy, boingy, And then after I do that row, I'm going to do another row, and then another row, and then another row. Wow, this one had a lot of curves. And I noticed that it didn't matter exactly where they started and stopped as long as they were all right around the same size and shape. Next, you're going to put 2 curves on the inside of each of these loops. This reminds me of an earlier Zentangle that we did. Can you remember one that kind of looked like this? Let me see if I can find it. Remember this one? The lollipops? It looks a lot like this one to me. All right, so I'm going to make 2 loops on the inside of each of these curves. See, 1 and 2. I'm going to go all the way around every single one. Great job, everybody. Just look at the awesome Zentangles you made. I put all 10 of mine together. They look so cool, don't you think? I love the variety, but I still love the way they all go together as a series. They look so cool. I'm really proud of you, and I hope you enjoyed this process. Remember, it's all about being Zen. So you want to relax, have fun, and enjoy the process. Next week, I'll show you some ways of applying these patterns to other kinds of artwork that you might make. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.